authorities is that they've shot and killed the lone assassin responsible.
World leaders from over 100.
The movie begins in Salamanca, Spain, precisely at 12 p.m. A historic international summit is taking place inside Plaza Mayor, where representatives from over 150 countries, both Arab nations and Western allies, have gathered. Their mission is to finalize a groundbreaking global agreement against terrorism, a pact meant to prevent future tragedies like the devastating September 11th attacks. Security is at its highest level. Armed guards patrol every corner, snipers are positioned on rooftops, and the entire plaza is locked down. News networks, including JNN, are broadcasting the event live from different angles, capturing every detail. The atmosphere is tense but hopeful. Soon, the motorcade of the President of the United States arrives, and journalists rush forward, cameras flashing, eager to capture the defining moment. Secret Service agents form a protective wall around the President, ensuring he makes it safely to the podium. The mayor of Salamanca warmly introduces the President, and the crowd cheers in anticipation of his historic speech. But before he can utter a single word, a gunshot pierces the air. The President collapses, shot in front of the entire world. Screams echo through the plaza as people scatter in panic. The Secret Service rushes to shield other world leaders and hustle the injured President toward an ambulance. But just when the crowd thinks the worst is over, a powerful bomb detonates just outside the square, shaking the ground beneath them. Moments later, a second explosion erupts directly at the stage, right where dignitaries had been standing. Chaos engulfs Plaza Mayor as smoke fills the air and terrified civilians scramble to escape. Even the JNN reporters, who had come only to cover the event, are now trapped victims of this nightmare. The story suddenly rewinds to 23 minutes earlier, where we meet Thomas, a seasoned U.S. Secret Service agent. In his hotel room, he prepares for his most critical assignment yet, protecting the President at this historic summit. His colleague Kent Taylor arrives, reminding him of the gravity of the mission, to safeguard the leader of the free world no matter the cost. Together, they head to Plaza Mayor. As they arrive, the tension is visible. Protesters line the streets, voicing their opposition to the President's presence. Journalists crowd the barricades, preparing for live coverage. Thomas and Kent take their assigned positions, their eyes constantly scanning for danger. When the President arrives, everything proceeds smoothly. But Thomas, relying on years of instinct, notices something unusual: a curtain shifting in the window of a nearby building. He immediately alerts the team to investigate. On stage, the mayor begins his introduction, but before the President can speak, disaster strikes. Explosions tear through the plaza, throwing civilians and officials into chaos. Amid the smoke and confusion, Thomas recalls knocking down a suspicious man near the stage earlier. He later discovers that man is actually a Spanish police officer assigned to guard the mayor. Still suspicious, Thomas urges the team to detain him. Moments later, another bomb detonates, confirming his fears that something larger is unfolding. Then Thomas crosses paths with Howard, an American tourist filming the event. Reviewing Howard's camcorder footage, Thomas notices the flash of a gunshot from a distant window. Kent immediately heads off alone to track the shooter, while Thomas remains behind to examine the video further. Just as Thomas races toward the stage, another explosion shakes the plaza, injuring several of his fellow agents. Knowing JNN captured everything, he rushes to their studio, desperate to piece together the full picture. Meanwhile, we meet Enrique, a local Spanish police officer tasked with protecting the mayor. Earlier that morning, he had grown suspicious after seeing his girlfriend Veronica meeting a strange man. Conflicted and uneasy, Enrique had handed her a bag, asking her to keep it safe, unaware of its deadly contents. During the assassination attempt, when Enrique rushes to the stage to protect the mayor, Thomas mistakes him for a threat and tackles him to the ground. While restrained, Enrique watches in horror as Veronica throws the bag under the podium. He tries to warn the agents, but his words fall on deaf ears. Moments later, the bag explodes, proving Enrique was right all along. The timeline resets again, this time through Howard's perspective. A cheerful tourist, Howard is simply recording his trip when he finds himself swept into the chaos. Through his lens, he captures everything: the president being shot, Veronica discarding the bomb, and Enrique's desperate arrest. Though he tries to warn the Secret Service, no one listens. Amid the terror, Howard discovers a lost little girl named Anna searching for her mother. Acting on instinct, he rescues her, shielding her from the explosions and stampeding crowd. Even as chaos escalates, Howard never stops filming, unwittingly becoming the key eyewitness to the entire conspiracy. Then comes the shocking twist. The president who was shot wasn't the real president at all, but a body double. The U.S. intelligence community, having intercepted terrorist communications, had already suspected a plot. To protect the real president, they sent a decoy to Plaza Mayor. Watching the attack unfold live from his hotel, the real president and his aides are shaken. But their relief doesn't last long. An explosion suddenly rips through the hotel lobby itself, proving that the terrorists have infiltrated even deeper than expected. Finally, the film reveals the terrorists' perspective. Their leader, Suarez, a Moroccan-born extremist now living in Spain, is orchestrating the attacks from a nearby cafe. His team has infiltrated every layer of the operation. A JNN cameraman feeds them information, Veronica executes on-the-ground orders, and Javier, a special forces soldier, has been blackmailed into helping after his brother was kidnapped. Yet even Javier's loyalty means nothing. Suarez coldly kills his brother once, he's no longer useful. At the same time, Thomas makes a horrifying discovery. Kent, his trusted colleague, is actually a traitor working with the terrorists. Realizing the scale of the betrayal, Thomas launches into a desperate pursuit through the streets. Meanwhile, Javier kidnaps the real president from the hotel, handing him over to Veronica and Suarez, who load him into an ambulance. The climax unfolds in a relentless chase. Thomas tracks Kent and Javier, pushing himself to the limit. After a fierce pursuit and a violent shootout, Thomas finally faces Suarez. In a tense gunfight, Thomas kills the terrorist leader and rescues the president, who is shaken but alive. As reinforcements arrive and medical teams rush in, Thomas calls in the all-clear. The conspiracy has been crushed, but the scars of betrayal remain. The film closes with a sobering reminder. In a world of shifting loyalties, even those sworn to protect can turn into the greatest threat.